What does $100 a day in passive income mean for you? What would you do with an extra $100 a day? What would you do to earn it? And how hard would you work to get it? $100 a day is the magic number. It's a nice round number, and we can visualize that. We can visualize it better than if we said something like, I want an extra $36,525 a year. For many people, it would mean financial independence, or at least the freedom to choose a more meaningful career without the stress of working for the paycheck. Good news is that almost anybody can earn $100 a day in dividends, but it requires two key ingredients: time and money. How much money does it take to earn $100 a day, and how much time? Dividends are the most passive form of passive income. Once you buy them, all you need to do is relax and collect these paychecks. Dividend-paying companies, they take pride in paying dividends to their shareholders and want to protect their reputation of providing this income. Companies in the United States tend to pay dividends 4 times a year, and they try to keep a good schedule about it. Realty Income has been paying its dividend around the 15th of every month since 1994. So how much do you need to invest to get this mythical $100 a day in dividend income? Well, that depends, because companies have different yields. And some companies have lower yields and some have higher yields. So if something has a yield of 1%, you get $1 in dividends a year for every $100 that you invest into the stock. Other companies have low yields of 1%, and other companies have higher yields of 5%. You could go higher, but the higher the yield, the more risk that you take on that this company cannot sustain its dividend, and that they'll have to cut the dividend just to keep the company alive. AT&T has a high yield of 7%, and a lot of investors bought AT&T because it was the highest paying dividend aristocrat. But now they have to spin off Time Warner and reorganize the company, and AT&T investors are looking at a 50% dividend cut in the process. Then you have to consider dividend growth. How much is the company increasing that dividend? Maybe this year the company pays out $2 per share, but next year it can raise its dividend to $2.25. There's an inverse relationship with yield and dividend growth. The higher the yield, the less the company can increase that dividend. And the lower the dividend yield, the more they can increase that dividend every year. Here's an example. One of my favorite companies, Home Depot, has a yield of 2%, and the dividend has been growing 20% a year on average. And Verizon, that has a higher yield of 4.7%, but they're only increasing their dividend by 2% a year. You'll need to decide on what kind of balance you want to strike with yield and dividend growth. Even if you choose it in ETF, you're making some sort of choice. One downside of the ETF is that you don't get the same dividend growth because they rebalance the positions inside the ETF. And your income can fluctuate, but still at the same time, you're not going to take that 50% pay cut like AT&T. And the fluctuations in your income are going to be pretty small. $100 a day equals about $36,500 in dividends. So if you have a yield of 2%, you just divide that 36,500 by 0.02, and that gives you $1.825 million. That sounds like a lot. How about 5%? Alright, that gives us $730,000 that we'll need to make that $100 a day. And that sounds a lot better. But good news is that we don't need to get all this money at once. We can dollar cost average. We can just keep adding money every paycheck or monthly or whenever we get extra money, so we can build up our streams of income. Now if we add $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. That doesn't sound great because even after 10 years, that's $60,000. But we'll be getting dividends from these shares. All the shares that we bought way back in month 1, they're going to be paying dividends, and then we'll get more dividends in month 2 and month 3 and so on and so forth. The important step here is that we need to reinvest these dividends to buy more shares. So these are going to add up over time, and eventually your dividends will buy more shares than you do. Your dividends reinvested will account for more of your income than all the shares you purchase yourself, and this is called compound interest. If we have an average yield of 3.5%, which I think is reasonable, we need about $1 million to get our $100 a day. We actually need $1,042,000. And $500 a month at 3.5% yield after the first month is going to give us $1.45. And that's $1.45 a month, not $1.45 a day. But after month 2, then we're going to get $2.92. And this is better, but still, at this rate, it's going to take us 56 years to get our $100 a day. Now, if we add a 10% dividend growth rate to this dividend, meaning that every year the amount of dividends we get increases by 10%, that's going to speed up our process a lot. Now it'll only take us 29 years to get our $100 a day. 29 years is better, but we can do even better than this. We can increase how much money we add every month. By getting promoted in our job and increasing our income, we can add more money to this fund. We can increase our contributions by 10% a year, so starting with $500 a month in year 1, in year 2, this is going to be $550 a month. And then in year 3, it's $605 a month. This takes an additional 9 years off our timetable. And we'll be able to meet our goal in only 20 years. So this is doing much better, especially if we are younger. Now, if we wanted to increase the money we add by 20% a year, year 1 would be $500, year 2 would be $600, then we'll reduce the time all the way to 16 years. The only way to cut down on the time required is to add more money earlier. Dividends are an amazing way to build wealth, but they do require those two important things to work: time and money. The more time and the more money you add, the more dividends you have. Luckily, almost everybody can build a portfolio of high-quality dividend stocks over time, increase their dividends, grow their wealth, and achieve financial independence. So how much money are you making in dividends right now? Go ahead, leave a comment down below. And then if you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more videos, okay? Justin out.